What's up, guys? It's your girl Frisk Me Good, your favorite fashion designer and fashion icon. And welcome back to my channel where we talk all things fashion. So today we're continuing my series So Nostalgic, where we explore the cultural moments, trends, and phenomenon that shaped our sense of style and our relationship with fashion. In this series, we break down the rise, the fall, and sometimes the comeback of forces that influence how we shop, how we dress, and how we experience pop culture. On today's episode, we're looking at a movement in fashion where activism and influence collided. A cultural landscape where the line between advocacy and manipulation grew increasingly thin. A place where a single campaign could redefine an entire industry's reputation, and how imagery crafted for impact had the power to reshape long-standing norms. For more than 4 decades, PETA has operated in that space. Their anti-fur campaigns reshaped designers' choices, shifted consumer expectations, and helped make fur one of the most controversial materials in modern fashion. But those achievements came with consequences. Many of PETA's most recognizable tactics, from celebrity-driven advertisements to runway disruptions, were not simply expressions of passion, but calculated strategies designed to provoke, confront, and pressure the fashion world. And while these methods changed public perception, they also sparked criticism and backlash, and long-standing questions about the organization's ethics. Today, we're taking a closer look at the full arc of PETA's anti-fur activism. The early campaigns that captured global attention, the evolution towards digital persuasion, the controversies that continue to follow the organization, and how the conversation around ethical fashion has transformed in the post-fur era. Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion advised. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, mainstream fashion routinely celebrated fur. High-end designers showcased it, magazines promoted it, and celebrities wore it without criticism. PETA sought to challenge that dominance. One of PETA's most iconic initiatives was the I'd Rather Go Naked Than Wear Fur campaign. According to reporting from CNN, this campaign, featuring actors, musicians, and models posing nude, became one of the most recognizable activist campaigns in fashion history. This message was deliberately simple and visually striking. Choosing to wear fur equated to choosing cruelty. For more than 3 decades, these ads dominated billboards, magazines, television, and public conversations.
Do your part. You think it's small, but it's so impactful.
Hi, this is Khloe Kardashian for PETA.
I decided to pose for PETA I'd Rather Go Naked campaign. 1, because I'm so honored just to even be asked. It's such an amazing group of women. And 2, it's such a powerful statement. And I really want people to know that I'm serious about the fur campaign. I just don't think it's necessary. You know, I never really was aware of fur and how the fur was made. I originally always thought fur was made from dead animals. The videos are so graphic but so necessary for people to watch. I'm so grateful that I did get the opportunity to see them. I had no idea that's how these animals were treated. My advice is just, the internet is so powerful these days. Google, just inform yourself, because you don't have to kill little amazing animals.
PETA also staged highly visual protests. Simulated die-ins splashed with fake blood, activists confined in cages, public fur-destroying demonstrations, and street performances designed to mimic the conditions of fur farms. These tactics were crafted to generate media coverage at a time when traditional press was the primary vehicle for public influence.
A group of animal rights activists made their stance on animal cruelty crystal clear today in downtown Spokane, didn't they?
They sure did. They stood naked at Main and Howard in coffins. Ladies positioned themselves in the wooden boxes and held signs saying, we would rather be dead than live in an animal skin. The main goal of the gathering is to inform you of options besides wearing fur.
In the 21st century, there are plenty of warm, luxurious, and fashionable alternatives, so you can get that same killer look without killing any animal.
The alternatives they're talking about is faux fur, which is synthetic fabrics made to look like real animal pelts.
In 2005, the documentary Earthlings provided graphic, unfiltered footage of practices inside the fur, leather, and meat industries. This documentary, often cited in animal rights activism, depicted electrocution of foxes and minks, skinning while the animals were still conscious, and the psychological distress of confinement in small wire cages. The film confirmed many of the conditions PETA had described for years, giving their early activism a level of legitimacy that critics had previously disputed.
Over 100 million wild animals are murdered for their pelts every year, 25 million in the United States alone. These animals, obtained by hunting and trapping, are kept on fur farms in conditions like these. Naturally, these undomesticated, wild animals are not accustomed to being caged. And cage madness develops when frightened and frustrated animals are driven crazy from the stress of confinement. These wild, free-roaming animals and their offspring find themselves unable to live a natural life, can never take even a few steps or feel the earth beneath their feet. Instead, they are reduced to scratching, circling, and pacing endlessly.
By the early 2010s, public attitudes towards fur began to shift. Consumers were questioning the necessity of animal fur, and designers were evaluating the reputational risk of continuing to use it. PETA responded by evolving its communication strategies. The organization expanded beyond physical protests. Its focus shifted towards curated digital messaging, online petitions, concise videos designed to be shared across social platforms, and highly targeted educational campaigns directed at younger audiences.
Hello, excuse me. I think that's mine. Yeah, that belongs to me.
Hey, I paid a lot for this.
Well, actually, I paid a lot more.
This period marked PETA's transition from physical spectacle to digital influence. PETA began collaborating with figures whose public image emphasized professionalism and mainstream appeal. According to PETA's own reporting, the organization directly pressured major media outlets, including Condé Nast and Vogue, to eliminate fur from their editorial content. Among PETA's most visible and controversial tactics were their runway disruptions. Throughout the 1990s, 2000s, and well into the 2010s, activists repeatedly stormed fashion shows mid-runway holding signs with statements such as "Fur kills," "Animals are not clothing," and "Wear your own skin." These actions were strategically timed. Activists often waited until the height of a show, then rushed onto the runway, sometimes shouting slogans or displaying graphic imagery.
Angry animal rights activists, the PETA, or People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, attempted to disrupt one of New York's biggest fashion events, the annual Victoria's Secret fashion show. But in true showbiz style, the show continued with rousing performances by musical superstars Mark Antony and Destiny's Child.
According to Vogue, these disruptions targeted several of the world's largest fashion houses. While the interruptions often lasted only seconds before security intervened, the visual impact was immediate. Photographs of activists clashing with staff or displaying protest signs circulated globally within hours, ensuring that PETA's message reached audiences far beyond the venue itself. But for PETA, this was the intention. Transforming a highly controlled, exclusive environment into an unexpected stage for activism. But to many within the fashion industry, these acts represented an escalation from advocacy into spectacle, raising concerns about safety, ethics, and the long-term effectiveness of confrontational tactics.
We work for the animals and we want to show to millions of people what happened in this kind of fashion show. And we have to do something strong to get the attention of the media. But we want to save the animals, and we think that it's really violent to show animals killed, not to protest or to organize demos like what we do to save the animals.
Beyond the runway, PETA also became known for aggressively targeting celebrities who wore fur or other animal-derived materials. Throughout the late 2000s and 2010s, activists confronted musicians, actors, and public figures. One of the most publicized conflicts involved Lady Gaga, whose use of fur and exotic skins prompted PETA to issue open letters, press statements, and online campaigns accusing her of hypocrisy despite her previous advocacy for marginalized communities.
But PETA has a new target, and it's Lady Gaga. Gaga has come under attack after she has been seen in public rocking what seems like real fur. PETA sent off an angry letter to Gaga calling her a hypocrite for talking about being anti-fur on the Ellen DeGeneres show and then turning around and wearing what they assume is fox and rabbit. Lady Gaga wrote a tweet addressing the situation saying, quote, "For those press and such who are writing about whether or not my fur is actually real, please don't forget to credit designer Hermes. Thank you, love Gaga."
PETA activists also attended album signings, meet and greets, and in-store appearances while posing as fans, only to ambush artists with protest signs or shouted accusations.
Yeah. This goes out to all the animals that were tortured and murdered so Kelly can wear their fur. Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Kelly Rowland has blood on her hands! 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 Blood, blood, blood on your 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 hands! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Everyone awesome! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Fur trade! Death trade! Everyone awesome! Death trade! Fur trade!
Videos of these conversations circulated rapidly across entertainment media, often overshadowing the broader ethical conversations PETA hoped to raise. Critics describe these tactics as harassment, arguing that targeting individuals, especially in public or professional settings, shifted the focus away from systematic issues and undermined the credibility of the movement.
Back up.
Fucking bitch.
The behind-the-scenes advocacy contributed to the shift in fashion media coverage, where designers who rejected fur began receiving greater recognition. As platforms like Instagram and Twitter grew, PETA no longer needed to physically interrupt events to produce visibility.
9 out of 10 people refuse to wear fur. Fashion designers are refusing to, use fur on the runway. Stella McCartney, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. And, more and more people are learning about the horrors of Canada Goose specifically. It's a recent company. People are just, finding out that these are real animals that they're using for the trim. And when they find out, they're absolutely horrified. And some people, when asked, will actually remove the trim off their jackets.
Animal abuse! It's their fur, not ours!
Digital engagement amplified every protest clip, graphic post, or editorial campaign to millions. The result was a form of activism that required less physical confrontation, yet delivered broader cultural reach. Despite PETA's influence, the organization has faced extensive criticism from the fashion industry, activists, journalists, and the public. Some critics argue that PETA frequently blurs distinctions between different materials. For example, campaigns targeting fur occasionally included imagery or messaging related to shearling, wool, leather, and faux fur. This contributed to confusion among consumers and frustration among designers using ethically sourced or alternative materials. PETA has long been scrutinized for its use of funds, euthanasia practices in shelters, and the shock values of some campaigns. Other animal rights organizations have accused PETA of alienating potential supporters with tactics that they view as extreme or sensationalized.
The often controversial animal rights group is raising eyebrows again, and this is not about getting you to go veg or ditch your leather boots.
Not at all. According to records, PETA's animal shelter in Norfolk killed nearly 90% of its animals last year, saying they were unadoptable. But how hard did they try to save them? 10 on your side, Stephanie Harris is looking into this allegation of really hypocrisy.
Anita, Tom, PETA admits they've been killing animals for years. The organization says the animals they kill are in such bad shape that no one would adopt them. But a group called the Center for Consumer Freedom alleges they don't even try. So 10 on your side went to find out. We've all seen the stunts. PETA putting half-naked models outside MacArthur Center, lining the circus route with protesters, and the undercover video of neglected animals like this that forced a Gates County research lab to turn over its dogs. They are less flashy, however, when it comes to spreading the word of euthanasia in their own headquarters.
The hypocrisy here is obvious, and we just hope people wake up to it.
Justin Wilson is with the Center for Consumer Freedom, which has been fighting PETA for years.
PETA doesn't even have any open hours at their animal shelter. Most people don't even know that they run an animal shelter.
10 on your side asked PETA's campaign manager, Danielle Katz, about that.
PETA is a shelter of last resort. We take in the animals that nobody else will take in.
We asked to see the shelter. She showed us to a room with one cat. We also asked how many animals PETA adopted out last year.
I believe PETA adopted out about 25 animals, and we worked with the Virginia Beach SPCA to adopt out another about 150.
The organization euthanized more than 1,600.
These criticisms raise important questions about the consistency and the transparency of PETA's messaging. High-quality faux fur has become increasingly prevalent. However, the material is not without its issues. Many versions are petroleum-based. They generate microplastics, and they raise questions about long-term environmental sustainability. Thus, the debate over ethical fashion extends far beyond the fur industry. Consumers now ask broader questions. Is vegan leather environmentally sustainable? How ethical is wool when sourced from humane farmers? Are plant-based alternatives genuinely scalable? As the discussion expands, many activists argue that nuance rather than shock is essential for future progress. While the fashion industry has reached a turning point with fur rapidly disappearing from mainstream fashion, the next areas of focus may include leather, down, wool, exotic skins, and the broader environmental impact of synthetic alternatives. Activists will need to adopt more comprehensive, scientifically grounded approaches rather than relying solely on spectacle. Modern audiences expect transparency and balanced evidence. Sensationalism may generate attention, but it risks overshadowing important ethical issues. The future of animal activism will depend on strategies that balance impact with accuracy, emotional engagement with scientific context, and moral urgency with practical solutions. Regardless of one's stance on PETA, the fur industry, or ethical fashion, the underlying issue still remains the same. Animals continue to play a significant role in the production of fashion, and our choices as consumers and creators influence the direction of that industry. Thank you guys so much for watching this deep dive into PETA's anti-fur campaigns and their complex legacy. As the conversation around ethical fashion continues to evolve, so does our responsibility to understand the full context behind imagery, activism, and industry changes that shape the world we participate in. But anyways, if you guys love deep dives into weird fashion history, obscure trends, and the rise and the fall of things we used to obsess over, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I have so much more on the way. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye!